Okay, guys, shall we start now? Yes. Part 2, we will see the ODA works of Korea as the donor countries. Yes, in the part 1, we have checked the status of Korea in the international societies. From recipient status, they change their shape as a donor countries in the international societies. Okay, from now we will see the Korean ODA as the donor countries. Korea is as a good model which changed their status in the international societies. Their mind was changed since 1990s or 2000. From recipient country, they still remember that what happens to the Korean economy when what happens to the Korean societies. So, as a donor countries, they want to do something for the developing countries with their memories or experiences. So, as the donor countries, the main point of Korea is that sharing their experiences. Since 1960s, they could have a lot of nutritions of ODA project all over the world. But from that times, they started the activities of help of other countries. Mainly, their target was not the developed country, but also other developing friendship countries. We can call that as the South-South cooperation. So many developing countries became the good friends of Korea, and they share their knowledge together, their economic point as well. But it is very hard to say that it is ODA project. But they started those kind of activities. Well, since 1990s and 2000, Korea became official development project providers. That is donor country. As a donor country in the world, they have to make good ODA providing systems. So they have to improve the ODA system, the Korean ODA system for the developing countries. Yes, ODA project is international activities in the international stages. However, if Korea or Korean government, if they want to do something, they have to, based on the Korean official public money or tax or public hand, or officers of Korean government. So, some ways it is very domestic works as well. There are two different sections, international activities, and also it is also have the colors of the domestic works. So 2010, with the joining of the DAC membership in the OECD, Korea, they started to change the fundamental system of ODA. With the enactment of the Framework Act on the International Development Cooperation, this is the very framework rules in Korea regarding ODA project. They rearranged the legal system for their domestic activities. With the many efforts of global development, Korea could make good progress as a donor country in the world. So, since then, many developing world started to think that this country is donor country, not recipient country anymore. Okay? What is their goals and plans? Basically, they want to share their knowledge with the developing country. So, Korea, they will assist the developing country, but not just for their economic progress, but also social progress or sustainable changes or development of the developing countries' societies. And also, they want to follow up the international standard, such as MDG or SDG. So, all Korean ODA projects should be related to their one of or some of SDG themes. And also, they want to promote the humanitarian assistance or human security. It is based on their experience with the dictatorship of Korea. Many people died for their democracy. So Korean people, they want to help the other country for their democratic progress or human securities. In the future, they want to expand the development cooperation with the bigger size of ODA project. They want to achieve the MDGs or SDGs standard, and also, they want to follow the trend of international societies, and then they want to expand the grant aid to the LDC, the least developed countries. Still, a big percentage of the Korean ODA project are related to the concessional loans, based on the bank. But they have to change the colors of money or helps into the grant aid or free money with that colors. Let's see the direction of the Korean ODA. The major policy directions is quite simple. Increasing the volume of ODA or ratio of grant aid. Basically, firstly, they have to expand the size of ODA project. And then they also have to expand the percentage of grant aid, not concessional loan. And then implementing the research-based management system and to meet the needs of partner countries. And then Korea, they have to do the research-based ODA works to follow up the needs of their partner countries, to consider the stance of or position of developing countries. Not just from that direction. The ODA project must be this direction with the communication with the partner countries. And then integrating the Korea's development experience and the comparative advantages into the development cooperation project. Korea was I think nearly one example which was the recipient country into the donor country. So it is very hard to make that sample. Many developing countries wants to be a donor country in the future, following the Korean models, the Korean style. So Korea have to share their experience with the developing country. So they have to use their experience in the Korean development project. And also, they have to find out what is the Korean style, which is the area is the Korea has advantage. So they have to find the Korean style ODA project. And then the encouraging CSO, the civil society organizations, such as NGOs, or the private sector. So even if the ODA is very public things, using public money, using public officers, however, to make synergy effect, to make better research, sometimes, or in many cases, they have to make the cooperation with NGOs or private sector, companies or individuals. So the Korean program, Korean ODA project, must be based on the cooperation with the NGOs or private sectors. Maintaining the selection and focus principle. If they can make the Korean style ODA project programs, then these countries have to focus on that things, not consider other the project which can be made by other countries. Selection and focus. This is very important principle for making the effectiveness of their ODA project. Expanding untied aid. Still, many Korean ODA projects are based on the conditional offer, but the pure ODA must be unconditional offer. So they have to expand this portion, this percentage of untied aid. The last one, strengthening capacity for ODA implementation. Korea still, they are in the how can I say, children in the ODA area. So to make the better ODA project, they have to strengthen their capacity, to make better solution, to make better research of the Korean ODA. So Korean government, they have those kind of directions for the future ODA, the Korean ODA systems, and then they made the major directions for their policies. Okay, let's see the structure of the Korean ODA system. ODA is based on the public money and the public hands. So Korea, they have those kind of very good triangle system. Bilateral grant aid from Korea to the developing country, direct ways, assistance. Bilateral loans. from Korean government to their developing country partners the money from here to there as a loan style. And then the third one is multinational. Yeah, can you see that? The blue one. Multilateral, multinational systems. It is quite indirect ways. If Korean government support international organizations, they can do something for the developing country. So it is indirect help. Or if Korean government do something with many other donor countries together to the developing countries, then it's multilateral systems. There are 3 types of ODA method. But the thing is that we do not have to do one of these things. We can combine together 2 or 3 of them for the synergy effect. In many ODA projects are done by these combination of the method. Okay, the Committee for the International Development Cooperation. This is the highest level of committee in the Korean government. It is the coordinating body deliberating or deciding overall ODA policies of Korea in a long-term view. Yeah. So this committee is based on the Korean domestic rules, the Framework Act, which we'll see later, the details. Members, they can decide some fundamental things for the Korean ODA policies. Prime Minister in the Korean government, he is chairperson of the committee, and then the committee members will discuss about the future of Korean ODA policies, and they decide something. It is the highest level of the decision makers in the Korean administrative system, I mean the government. And then if they decide the policies in a long-term view, and then under these decisions, the government, they can make short-term policies and strategies or plans. Under the committees, the highest level, the working committee can do something. And then, under these committees and the working committees, many governmental branches, such as Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they will do the detailed project. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they will supervise the COICA, we will see later. And then those kind of governmental bodies will do the bilateral grant aid. And then the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also will support many kind of international organizations, such as United Nations. And then those kind of support can make the good research in the international societies. Okay? Yeah, that is multilateral assistance. What about the other governmental branches? For example, Ministry of Strategy and Finance. Ministry of Finance, they will supervise the concessional loans. Loans, these activities done by what? Banks, such as World Bank, Asian Development Bank, yes, it is. So in Korea, under the supervision of the Ministry of Finance, then certain banks in Korea will do those kind of activities. Or they can make the partnership with multinational development banks, such as World Bank. That is multilateral aid. So, bilateral ways, concessional loans, or multinational development bank as a multilateral aid. Not two governmental branches, but other ministers, many kind of local government, they also do various types of ODA works in a different level, different dimension, different colors. So, Ministry of Foreign Affairs or Ministry of Finance, they are just the symbolic governmental branch. Okay? Bilateral grant aid is technical cooperation from the Korean government to the directly to the developing countries, partner countries. This is the around 40%, yeah, less than 50% of the total budget of Korean bilateral ODA. Bilateral grant aid is the, based on the no obligation the repayment, providing just the cash or services or goods without any expectation of return. It should be a pure ODA works. It's not an official word. Pure means, any other types also must be a pure. Yeah. So, in the Korean governmental structure, under the supervision of the Korean, the Ministry of International Affairs, they established the KOICA, Korea International Cooperation Agency, for that jobs. So Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they supervised the KOICA. The KOICA is the real hands of bilateral grant aid to the donor, to the developing countries. What is the bilateral loans? It is loans, to the developing countries. Loans to be done by banks. So Korean government can provide the loans to the developing countries, expecting repayment in the future. So Korean government has special fund, which is Economic Development Cooperation Fund, that is EDCF. With that fund, they could make special project bilateral loans to the developing partner countries. Loans, these activities should be done by a bank, such as Asian Development Bank or World Bank. So in Korea, under the supervision of Ministry of Finance, they supervise the Korea Export-Import Bank, Korea Exim Bank. So original works of Korean Exim Bank is not the providing bilateral loans, but they are doing these work as well. Under the supervision of Ministry of Finance, the Korean Exim Bank, they will manage the EDCF, the Development Cooperation Fund, and then with that fund, they will provide bilateral loans to the developing countries. Lastly, multilateral assistance. Sometimes it can be a partnership with the international organizations. Financial subscriptions to the international organization. This is the very symbolic things. For example, if Korean government support United Nations something branch, then it can be a multilateral assistance. Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as the contributors to the international organizations, they will do in that jobs. Ministry of Finance, they can also support the international organizations, such as World Bank groups or Asian Development Bank. Then the MDBs can use the fund for their own loans to the developing countries. There are so many kind of international organizations regarding development projects, as we checked before. So, partnerships with many international organizations of Korean government are various types. Multilateral assistance, can be done by Korean government. Therefore, we can include these type as their Korean ODA program, activities. Okay, let's see the institution of Korean ODA. As I said before, KOICA is the symbol of Korean ODA project. But they treat the bilateral grant aid or technical cooperation with the developing country. Korean Exim Bank, they treat the loans, which is from the EDCF, the fund. So KOICA is supervised by the Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Korean Exim Bank is supervised by the Ministry of Finance. And two ministries, they are also together related to the many international organizations, which is multilateral assistance. Financial subscriptions is done by Ministry of Finance, and the contribution to the international organizations, which is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Okay, I explained many things about that. Let's make the drawings. The highest level, Committee on the International Development Cooperation. The Prime Minister will check the many things in the highest level, and then Working Committee will arrange many practical things. And then the ministries in the Korean governmental branches, they will do something as the ODA policies. And then, under the supervision of the ministries, for example, KOICA or Korean Exim Bank, they will do the Korean ODA project. KOICA is the symbol of the grant aid activities of Korea, and Korean Exim Bank, they are doing the loans, providing loans by the name of Korean government. So this is the Korean ODA system, of course, except that so many kind of Korean government, central government or local government, they are doing many things under the name of Korean ODA. So they are just the examples or the representatives of Korean government regarding ODA systems. All right. Today we check the very basic point of the Korean ODA works. as from the recipient country to the donor country. Now Korea, these countries doing various types of the ODA works in the international societies. Various types of projects following the international standard, right? And then inside of the Korean government, there are a systemic point and the good structure. Yeah, these structures are commonly based on the Korean domestic laws. Okay, this is the end of part 2 of today's lecture. I hope to see you next lecture. Thank you.